On the 28th of January 1948, inside of a Polish execution chamber, a brutal and barbaric guard who worked inside of Auschwitz was brought to his execution. He had been condemned at the Krakow Auschwitz trials, and an executioner placed a noose around his neck, then kicked out the stool he was stood on. Auschwitz was the deadliest concentration camp of the Second World War, and there were thousands of people who worked in the extermination process at the camp. It was where over 1.1 million people succumbed to the gas chambers and the conditions of the site, and guards such as Franz Xaver Kraus were known for their brutality. He was a man who was a murderer and someone who took the lives of victims with his own hands. Welcome to The Untold Past. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. Franz Xaver Kraus was born on the 27th of September 1903 inside of Munich. He was a rather early member of the Nazi Party, joining in 1931 before Hitler rose to the position of Chancellor, and he then a year later joined the SS, which were beginning to expand also to a huge extent. Heinrich Himmler took the SS from being Hitler's bodyguards to becoming the paramilitary death squads that staffed the concentration camps and took the fight to the enemies of the Nazis on the battlefields of the Second World War. But Kraus's history with the Nazi Party went back even further than when he was officially a member. He was actually involved in the Munich Putsch, and because of this he was awarded the prestigious Medal of the Blood Order, and this was given out to those who took part in the putsch or the failed attempt to take control inside of Munich. As Hitler in the decades later increased his stranglehold over Germany, Franz Kraus then also joined the Waffen-SS, the military wing of the SS before the outbreak of the Second World War. But in the years before, he had cut his teeth inside of the concentration camps, and he served inside of earlier sites such as Lichtenburg, Esterwegen and Oranienburg. He then travelled across to Sachsenhausen between the years 1936 and 1939 to oversee the administration of the camp. He was involved in the SS Inspectorate of the concentration camps, and he regularly visited different sites and ensured that they were being run ruthlessly like some of the deadliest camps were. Himmler also carried out inspections of the facilities, but in 1941 Kraus was then made the head of the labour camp near to Gdansk, and throughout his service inside of the SS he was very well decorated. He was awarded different accolades, but he was known for being a ruthless and barbaric guard. At the end of 1944, Franz Xaver Kraus was sent to Auschwitz Concentration Camp, and specifically Auschwitz-Birkenau, the main extermination centre and the deadliest site of the Third Reich. Kraus inside of Auschwitz worked as an SS information officer, and he also worked as a camp director of Birkenau, but whilst he was here he became known for his brutality. Prisoners saw him regularly mistreating others, and they claimed he was a very cruel and malicious officer. He got involved in the deadly operations of Auschwitz, and in particular he was spotted and seen regularly patrolling the railway yards where new transports were sent to the camp. The selections took place with men such as Kraus deciding who would live and who would be immediately killed and slaughtered within the gas chambers. Those who were fit enough to work were admitted into the camp, but those who were not, and many women along with their children, were driven straight into the gas chambers. Many of the victims were harassed and beaten by Kraus and other guards who literally forced these people into the rooms that would become their sites of death. He was also known for murdering a number of prisoners during the evacuation of Auschwitz. Presumably on the death marches, he shot those who could not keep up, and he was also known for carrying out violent attacks upon the prisoners. At the end of the Second World War, Franz Xaver Kraus was brought to the Supreme National Tribunal in Krakow and the Auschwitz trial, and he was accused of crimes against humanity and also war crimes. He stood on trial alongside other brutal guards such as Maria Mandel and the former commandant Arthur Lieber Henschel, and along with these two and many others, Kraus was sentenced to death for his brutality and also the crimes he committed. Many witnesses came forward and spoke about his actions, and little could be done to spare him the executioner's noose. He was sentenced to death and was then sent to Krakow's Montelupich prison to await his execution. This took place on the 24th of January 1948, and he was informed that his execution was to be carried out imminently. That very day, dozens of Auschwitz guards were executed inside the execution chamber of Montelupich prison, and they were executed in groups. Inside the chamber were a number of hooks on the ceilings, and the nooses were hanged from these. Franz Xaver Kraus was led out to the noose along with many other guards, and he was told to stand on a box. An executioner secured the noose around his neck, then quickly the box was kicked out from underneath him, and over a couple of minutes, Franz Xaver Kraus strangled to death, and he was then declared dead. Franz Xaver Kraus was 44 when he was executed inside of the prison, and he was known for his brutality and crimes that he carried out inside of different concentration camps. He had a long history of being a Nazi, and was even present during the Munich Putsch, and for this he was awarded the Blood Order medal. Kraus was someone who took his actions into his own hands, and he was a cruel and ruthless man, whose work resulted in the deaths of dozens, if not hundreds of people, inside the deadliest concentration camp. Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thank you so much for watching.